Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Untitled podcast. We are HomeGround, and I'm the host for today. Unfortunately, our usual host, Prabhu, that's his name, isn't around today. I'm Haikal, the Arsenal fan. We've got Dom, the Liverpool fan.
fan,
We've got Tiru, the United fan.
United fans.
And we are all fans of football just like you guys. And that being said, we'd like to thank every single one of you for following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud. And remember to like, share, and comment on this video on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and give us a listen on SoundCloud. Because we want to hear from you guys, and we will read every comment that you guys make on this video, which brings us to a comment that we actually had.
Yes, we have been scouting the comments.
We've been reading them, and we'd like to thank Prem so much. He had something to say regarding last week's topic. So, Prem, this is what he said on Manchester United's decline. It's a rather lengthy one, so I'm going to read it out. He thinks that a lot of factors contribute to United's decline. As much as it sounds foolish that he's a big believer of club's DNA, how certain values should be inculcated in a club throughout a long time. United, as you know, has been a solid traditional attacking unit, and they go with a flat 4-4-2 with some variation from the fullbacks. Part of their game is to be using their wingers to whip in crosses and run at fullbacks. And he hasn't seen that since Ferguson left, and when Louis van Gaal came in, he could actually see that, but not to the same effect as when he was under Sir Alex Ferguson. One thing that Mourinho was targeted even before, Mourinho was targeted before Sir Alex Ferguson left, but actually Bobby Charlton said that he didn't fancy him because of he didn't fit the ethos of United, buying players in their peak, and then Mourinho never committed to this future for a long time. This prompted them to pick Moyes instead, which was picked by Sir Alex Ferguson, coming from the same cloth, Scottish and everything. He thought actually Rodgers was better than Moyes, but at times it also felt that the job was too big for both. They needed someone to steer the ship properly, wanted the youth, and that's when they went for Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal was even considered for DOF, Director of Football, alongside Cruyff when FSG first took over. But the thing about Louis van Gaal is that Prem said that he couldn't translate his ideas to the players, and often think you need players who understand the philosophy to play for a manager like him, meaning that it was hard for the players to communicate with him. Mourinho was a great acquisition on paper, but he's a big Prem has been a big fan of him despite how he bores opponents and while deliver trophies. However, to be honest, despite trophies, this seems different. It feels like there's a lot of power play at United currently. He wonders who's been pulling the strings alongside Woodward to make deals happen, which is what we discussed last week, and how Mendes, just like how Mendes is talked about because of Wolves. He wonders if anyone noticed that Raiola has many clients at United, Pogba, Lukaku, Romero, and I would like to add that Ibrahimovic as well. Yep. And actually wanted Matuidi. Raiola wanted Matuidi there, but it failed. And recently, United were prepared to sign young Italian at Milan if David De Gea was removed.
Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma. He wondered what Mourinho wants. Was it Matic? And that happened. But then Alderweireld, Matuidi, Perisic, Morata, and Willian all never happened.
All field,
Yeah. I just skip a bit. There's a major mismatch between United's ethos and manager style, because United, as you know, has been want to develop players, whereas Mourinho just wants what's ready, which is what you said. I remember.
Yeah.
Guardiola, he talked about Guardiola and said that Barcelona, he was at Barcelona and Liverpool seems like an amazing club, but the hierarchy seems a little over the place. Perhaps he was right about FSG was a mess, and fingers crossed they have seemed to burn their fingers and learn the hard way, and I hope that continues for Prem's club. Surprisingly, Prem, as concise as he is in
He's a
talking about United, he's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a Man U fan. He's a Liverpool fan.
And despite the wealth, Man City has a clear vision and project and was sold well to Pep. And he was earmarked to take over Sir Alex Ferguson, but many now why he actually stayed away from United. Lastly, he thinks that a lot can be salvaged with United if Mourinho decides to change tactics and work towards change like Conte did, or perhaps just another manager. And that's what he said. And thank you so much, Prem, for that comments.
It was very good because it's one of the comments where he was very detailed. It was by a knowledgeable person. They knew what they were talking about, and it was not a very biased review. It was quite even though being a Liverpool fan, he was in support of a club like Manchester United having its vision in place rather than losing it to a manager who is splurging. So what Prem shared was very good points lah. So like I would rather ask Tiru, like, what do you feel is the problem right now? Like, is there a clash between like, for example, like something famous in Man U is the class of '92. Is that philosophy of having the youth being developed into the first team lost through the ages after Ferguson left?
Okay, to be honest with you, we have to go down the timeline from the day Ferguson left. Okay. So Ferguson actually flew in to New York to speak to Pep.
Okay.
But Pep has already taken up a job at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, he already agreed.
Agreed to go there. So their first choice was not there.
Yeah.
Okay. So they had to settle for David Moyes instead. And Mourinho was interested. But he did not fit the club, as Bobby Charlton mentioned. Did not fit the ethos of the club.
Yep.
Okay. Then David Moyes was sacked 7 games before the season ended, and etc. But the main problem started with David Moyes.
Okay.
The main thing is that when you go to a club, for example, Bayern Munich, they're the biggest club in Germany. Right. Whenever there's a manager who's removed from the position, you only see the coaching staff leave. You don't see their backroom staff leave. The kit man, your dining lady.
Yeah.
They don't leave.
As in the backbone stays.
The backbone stays.
But the figure of head leaves.
Yes. The coaching style changes, the coaches change, but
they don't want to change everything lah.
yes.
Like
But what
drastic
Moyes
change.
did was that he wanted to implement himself into
So he-
United, so he removed everything.
Yeah.
So he totally brought in a new group, which did not have a winning formula, which was not used to the big games, the culture. He was literally building an Everton in United. And that was the mistake that he
Hard
made.
to accept, but I would agree.
And it looked like it was he was succeeding in
Yes.
bringing Everton into United.
Yes.
Especially Fellaini.
But that was the period of time when crosses were sent in for no
It
reason.
was not the okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, I remember United always playing like a 4-3-1-2. Was that the formation? Rather than
No. United was always lined up as a 4-4-2.
4-4-2, yeah.
Yes, but there were times where they had to, when they're attacking, one man sits back. In the later stages was Owen Hargreaves.
Okay.
But most of the time, United were 4-4-2. Both their midfielders are expected to attack and defend at the same time.
Okay, so
Alright.
so this okay, let's say Ferguson chose Moyes because he wanted someone as passionate as him in keeping the philosophy of
Yes.
the okay. Moyes was a very driven man. The argument is that if he was given patience and time, he could have pulled off something. But my opinion is no, he could not because he was tactically not there in the competence of a higher club lah, in the league table is different lah. So when Wenger came in, he played more of a 4-3-3 winger type of football, which actually gave more chance for youth because he needed players in the position for
Correct.
wing play. Probably if Wenger was given time, he could have like had more youth being developed. But uh, the problem comes back like to Mourinho, the argument about Mourinho, right? So Mourinho has always been a person who depends on the finance, and then he does not. The problem is he does not trust the youth. Even during the pre-game, he shared some comments about the youth not playing up to his standard and not being. I don't know whether he said trustworthy, but he felt that he was not getting it back from the youth. But it is a pre-game competition. He should give opportunity to youth rather than being. Okay, he has a winning mentality, but I think publicly criticizing your youth in that manner might have damaged his reputation even further. For especially for Manchester United fans who are local fans who are very connected to the club, who always see the youth developing and going through the ranks, and all the way to the immigration, they stop there because they fail the immigration officer's analysis, which is Mourinho. That's quite sad though.
Yeah. It's pretty much like saying if Mourinho was in charge of Liverpool back then, you wouldn't have Steven Gerrard or Michael Owen.
Yeah, you would never have Carragher, Michael Owen,
So that's the
even
case here.
McManaman.
So that's the case here.
Yeah.
So after David Moyes, and also coincides with the time that Ed Woodward came in.
Okay.
So they couldn't get players in, deals were not done, and stuff like that. So moving on to Louis van Gaal. This guy, international reputation. He has coached international sides. He has Ajax, Barcelona,
Even the national
the
squad.
national squad, Netherlands national squad. So this guy came in and he has a philosophy, but unfortunately the players were too damaged to adapt to the philosophy.
Drastic
And,
change,
drastic
lah.
changes, and also because you have the old guard and the new guard and new players. So that's a composite team that did not gel well.
Okay.
Because they did not have any playing experience at United, the culture or anything. Van Gaal was pushing his philosophy into the club, and the culture fought back.
Yep.
So that was the bad thing about Van Gaal's
So it's
reign.
still at the end of the day, it comes down to David Moyes. And the
I mean, it
removal
comes
of-
down all the way from the departure of Alex Ferguson.
Yeah lah.
Right?
That
Things have
was-
been done wrong.
That was the decline.
That's
of
the decline.
United.
That's when it started. Okay, we might have won the FA Cup, the Europa League, but it's not what you expect from United.
It was
not,
not
not
the-
in the sense
they-
that
they
they
always
qualify for the finals and etc. But the main ingredient that is missing from the United squad ever since Ferguson left is the attacking powers.
Yep.
It's
I would-
the swashbuckling style.
It's
I would
been
say
a long
lah,
time
they
since we've
always
seen
say
that.
that this was the United way. And sometimes people will say, what the hell is the United way? But we as fans will understand, hey, this is not the United way.
Yes.
It was different. It was more of a defensive, like more afraid to show, or they don't have the bang factor lah.
Which brings me to a question for you. Is how long which year have you been supporting United?
Since 1989.
That was Ferguson, right?
Yeah, that's
Still
Ferguson,
Ferguson.
in his third year after he was appointed in 1986.
Okay, so is this the lowest you've ever seen United as a United fan?
As a United fan, I read about lower times where things were much worse than
They're
this.
still shaky.
But-
But as my experience
Yep.
and my time that I have supported the club so far, I think this is the lowest point we are at.
It's a very
I'm
strong
saying
statement
that,
though.
Why I'm saying that is because Mourinho was appointed to challenge City's appointment of Guardiola. It was made on paper, right? It's because at the point in time, City goes out and appoints Pep Guardiola, the most successful coach of recent times. And who do you have closest to him?
Mourinho.
Right? And Mourinho's record, and I respect Mourinho and admire him for what he has done in football, what he has won, how he has won it tactically. Like when Inter Milan defeated Barcelona in the semi-final of the Champions League. That is tactical masterclass.
Yep.
Okay? But you can't do that every other game.
Yeah.
Against
day
every
is not a
other
Sunday.
opponent. You
Yeah.
can't do it against every other opponent. Right? So Mourinho's success as in Chelsea, after Porto, Chelsea, coincided with the time that Chelsea became the powerhouses.
Yep.
Financially lah.
and at the
Financially.
same time, Arsenal were aging and United
Yes.
was slowly, they had to rebuild.
Yes. So when Arsenal needed to rebuild and United needed to rebuild, they were going for these players, but these players ended up going to Chelsea.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
like Drogba, Ian Robben, Peter Cech initially before he joined Arsenal.
Yep.
Yeah. So these things happened, and Ranieri had built a winning team there. He
Yep.
just needed a few additions. And Mourinho was the guy who made it happen. Right? So it coincides with the financial muscle of Chelsea. And when he left and he went to Inter Milan, Inter was spending like crazy. The other teams were not spending as much.
I never seen Moratti more happy.
More
at that
happy
time.
at the time. But what happened after he left? What happened? The team has crumbled. Inter is not
terribly.
near anywhere to their glory days.
I would say the Inter Milan of Mourinho was a jam-packed team that was very heavily chosen in in games like FIFA or Winning 11 because it was such a strong squad. Then it was a luxury team. I would say like a luxury
And
team.
also because all the players were at their prime.
Yeah, correct.
And
See,
he
when
had
he
assembled a team, bought in a team at their prime.
You could actually say that during that time, Juventus, they were still building because they got relegated a few
Yes,
seasons ago. And AC Milan would dock points and they weren't, you
Yep.
know. So at that time, you could say that he took advantage of it.
True. Exactly what happened at Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
Right? He took advantage of the rebuilding that Arsenal had to do, the rebuilding that United had to do. So with the financial muscle.
swap team.
Yeah. And at Real Madrid, against Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, he did not have the best
Yeah.
of things. So he actually stumbled through, called it a success, and he left. Back to Chelsea. So at Chelsea, he comes in, he already has a squad.
I think that was one of the lowest positions in recent times for Chelsea before he was fired. I think it was 16th position.
Yeah.
Chelsea were at 16th. United, in terms of stats, were the previous game they were at 17th in terms of attacking as a base number lah. So it was as a Liverpool fan, it was something very unfamiliar because you don't really see United not attacking. They were struggling to get shots. Something is wrong, and in my opinion, right, in an unbiased review, the best player that United should always play is Rashford because it talk about the ethos again. Rashford is a player who understands the derby, who understands the we always say about the player must understand what he's wearing on his body, which is the shirt. And Rashford is someone who understands and he plays for the club. But even he, as talented as he is, at a 20-year-old, brimming with potential, doesn't get game time. How do you explain that? So I will never be almost confused.
With Rashford in mind, I would say that you need to play him in games, and you need to rest him because he's a young kid.
He's a young
We
guy.
all know what happened to Michael Owen because
Exactly.
he at the age of 23 he had played more games than any other player at the age.
And he
200
was-
odd games and his hamstrings crumbled. So we don't want that to happen to any player. So
Some
you
may
gotta
not
preserve.
know that actually Michael Owen in 2001 in recent times he was like the only English footballer to win the Ballon d'Or, which is now is like a competition with Messi and Ronaldo. But imagine an English guy, short guy, 169 or 167 or something.
He's
Actually,
not-
he's 174.
Oh, well, he looks damn short though.
His average Asian height.
but he
but-
looks
but-
small because of
of the other
rest
players.
lah.
His age isn't that different from Gerrard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite
And
close.
Gerrard goes on and on.
Yeah. So mistakes happen lah. He was pushed and he had the running thing, acceleration and all this, and stressed his muscles, and
Yeah.
it's quite impressive to win a Ballon d'Or at
Yeah.
probably very young age. So
All right.
And going back to United,
Let's sum
right?
things up.
The thing is that Mourinho is a good manager, but he's not the perfect fit for United.
yeah,
This sums it up.
I would say that lah.
This sums it up.
I think he's been exposed lah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
He has been tactically exposed.
He's
This is
like
a United show today.
He's like a magician and getting exposed.
Tricks went wrong.
Talking about exposed, let's talk about VAR at La Liga. La Liga actually has a VAR, and the Barcelona match against Valladolid, it was 1-0 for Barcelona, and then Valladolid actually got a goal in the 91st, 92nd minute,
Through a review, is it?
and it was a goal, but VAR actually got it right, and it counted as offside.
Yeah.
So, a question actually from our director for us to be asking is yes or no for VAR?
I would say yes because compared to Spanish football and other leagues, right, English footballers always get away with bad tackles and diving, and sometimes it is very difficult for referees to manage games due to the I would say hostile atmosphere, and people like to crowd. They always like to crowd the referee, and they like to complain and being little sissy about the game. But VAR can solve the issue, and there's a second opinion, which is the fans, and it is shown to everyone that this is the review we got. They cannot run away. So I think VAR is a yes.
Yeah, a lot of other sports are using this technology.
Especially American football.
American football, cricket, and maybe rugby. Yeah. So and the World Cup, we had it in the World Cup.
Yep.
So why not implement it in the Premier League?
Yeah.
It'll solve a lot of cases of misjudgment and wrong decisions.
So it again exposes what we the referees are unable to see.
Yes.
So it's a yes from you.
Definitely
Yes,
yes.
from me.
Yes for you. All right. So
How I wish it was implemented like 20 years ago. Then
Yeah,
Pires won't be getting away with dives.
Klinsmann.
okay. So we have our main topic right now, and wasn't last week. I can't remember the exact date, but Alan Shearer came out to say that Sergio Aguero is the best Premier League player, foreign player, to ever play in the Premier League. Is he? Because we've had a lot of foreign players, and we wonder whether is it actually true. First question is, I would like to ask Thiru. Do you agree with Alan Shearer's comments that
Okay.
he's the best
From
foreign player?
From my end, some sites said foreign player,
Okay.
some sites said foreign import.
Okay.
Okay.
I knew that.
So there are many players who can come into your mind when you think about the best foreign players, from Cantona to Bergkamp, Henry, Drogba. Too many to mention because the Premier League is littered with them.
Okay.
Right? But if you think about import, the best foreign import to ever reach England is Arsene Wenger.
Okay. I did not see that coming.
Okay, why I'm saying this is because English football has evolved and revolutionized to this state that we are today is because of Arsene Wenger. The man brought in football science.
It's okay, bro. It's okay.
No, carry on.
So the man brought in football science and dietitians and etc. All these things you see this as a professional sport, and these things are being carried out now on a daily basis. But back in the late 90s, this was not a case in England. While it was in Germany, it was implemented. It was not done so in England. So this guy changed the entire way football was run
Brought science into the game.
in football.
Okay.
Right. So a guy coming with a pair of specs from Grand Poussey, do you expect him to do this? No. So I would say that was the best thing that happened to English football. And when Arsenal started to play free-flowing football,
They're
everyone
one of the
started
best
to
counter
be in
attacks.
pursuit. To the end that the only team that is being compared with Barcelona for this free-flowing style of football is Arsenal
Back in the day.
back in the day. So
Actually, they still are trying to replicate it lah, but
It's still work in progress.
it's still a work in progress.
yeah.
So you're gonna say,
I'm going to say Arsene Wenger is the best foreign import.
all right. So let's keep
to-
it as you say no to Alan Shearer that Arsene Wenger is the best foreign
foreign
import to the Premier League.
Yeah.
All right. For you, I'm gonna stick with the word player here.
yeah, play.
So what criteria would you look at to
Okay.
say that
Stats
he's
time.
the best Premier League
Okay.
foreign player?
We're
Don't
gonna
worry, don't worry.
stat attack.
We're going to talk about Arsenal again. So, in my opinion,
I'm smart.
if you mention as a foreign player, no one comes close to Thierry Henry. Just almost immaculate in his form, his finishing, and even though he doesn't look like he's running fast, he's actually covering much more distance. And then from a winger to a striker, the French style of football. Even his first goal though, it was a nicely placed corner to his right side. Even that placing element was I would say it was revolutionized in English football by Henry in terms of finishing. But when we talk about stats, we go back to Alan Shearer's comments. So, the thing is, it's very difficult to gauge. Like, for example, I want to say the best midfielder or best defender because you have to see like figures like tackles and some of the data is not very effective from the time back then. So, three players come to my mind when we talk about best foreign import. imported player, I would say Aguero, Henry, and King Drogba. Drogba was a player.
Why is he King Drogba? It's supposed to be King Eric.
So it's like King Eric and King Drogba. So I would say that Cantona's stats at the time couldn't match the number of games that these current players have. All of them hit 200 plus. Okay, Aguero has 209 games that he played for City and scored 146 goals. And Henry has 254 games for Arsenal. He scored 174 goals. And Drogba has 226 games and he scored 100 goals. But most of the goals that Drogba scored were in finals and were important goals. Aguero now is still playing, so he's still improving. So in order to see like how effective these players are, we will do how many goals per appearance lah. So Drogba is 0.44 goals per appearance. Henry is 0.68 goals per appearance, but Aguero, while he's still improving, is 0.69 goals per appearance, which comes back to defend Shera's statement that
Maybe he calculated before saying that.
yeah, it could be, and Shera being one of the best English footballers ever to walk in the league.
Oh, he's the record goal scorer at 26.
Yeah, I mean he's still defending it. So for him to say that Aguero is a fantastic footballer, he would know. He's someone who can be backed up and someone scholarly to say that, oh, I know a striker, I was a striker, this is one of the best strikers in.
So he's adequately qualified to say that.
So he's right. I mean, stats also shows that Aguero has the better scoring rate compared to Henry.
But I want to mention something about this.
Yeah.
Andre and Aguero, they're not so far off, right?
Yep.
It's 0.68 and 0.69.
Yeah, very close. Yeah,
Very close. But you must understand that Drogba spent his career at his peak at Chelsea.
correct.
And Aguero is now at his peak at Man City.
City.
He's 31 years old now.
Yeah.
So he's got a good 3 years maybe. But
So he snaps
when you
something
look at Henry, at the middle of his career at his peak, he left for Barcelona.
Yeah,
So if he had stayed at Arsenal for probably another 3 more seasons or something and he not moved to Barcelona, I think that he would have a better record compared to both of these players.
But I do think that it was actually the end for him.
the end.
I mean, if I were to look
he was
back,
not progressing in Arsenal.
Yes.
lah. And then I think what he wanted was achievements. And then he came back to the European competition thing. Once he left for Barcelona, he won it. He won the Champions League, right? 2008, was it?
2009,
8-9 lah. So somewhere there.
2008 was
And
2008 was United.
So-
2009.
2009. So at then, right, when Arsenal came close, probably he felt that he was too good. I wouldn't say, but I know he loves Arsenal, but probably he felt that he was too good for the club already, and he was holding the club.
And he has been quite vocal with his criticism of Arsene Wenger previously. So I think that he felt that Arsenal needed to invest and spend money to bring in players to match the ambition of him.
Correct.
And he felt that Arsenal's ambition should be bigger. So I think that's the case.
well.
I just want to say about the foreign players. I think we are looking at this modern era. I would go back to the earlier stages and say the top 3 I would have in my team, as in the top 3 best foreign imports for me would be Gianfranco Zola, Dennis Bergkamp, and the King.
You know what happens now? Those kids actually don't know who you're talking about.
What's you two?
Bergkamp is not the Beckham's cousin, no, different. touch.
Gianfranco
First
Zola.
class touch.
There was one time, actually, a guy. I think
Small guy.
I think you guys know. Someone said Zola to him, and he was asking. He's a Chelsea fan. The guy that said Zola, he was asking, why are you as a Chelsea fan naming yourself as Cazorla, as in Santi Cazorla? So yeah,
People who don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's kids out there that don't know Gianfranco
If
Zola.
Dennis Wise find out, whack you.
So that's the thing, you see. You have to look at football at different times of the era.
Yeah.
I think the modern era is different from the era that used to be.
All right, now let's pick best ever, if you can.
Best ever.
Top 3, top 1.
What best ever in terms of foreign or
Yeah, foreign players.
only foreign players?
Yeah, in the Premier League.
Okay. I would still say Henry lah.
Is
Even
it
though
the
Aguero,
3 that you're giving
Yeah, so among the three, I would still say Henry because I've never seen a player like him, and I know that the competition is much tougher, and Aguero is still performing, and maybe at that time Henry didn't face like as much of a competition, but Henry then, if he was blooming now, untouchable. I think he's like a Mbappe already, something like that lah. I would say same style of play, but his finishing and his ability to play like throughout the front is very good. So I would say the best foreign player for me is Henry. Even though the stats show that Aguero is better, Henry.
Yourself, you're gonna stick with your legendary three.
George Weah's cousin.
Oh yeah, the guy who cheated. He gave a try.
Is it?
He managed to score one goal. No? George Weah.
I'm going to stick with King Eric.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point.
That's a fair point.
You wanna tell the viewers who King Eric actually is?
It's Eric Cantona. Many of you would know him as the ambassador of football in Eurosport.
Beach soccer,
Yeah.
maybe you watch beach soccer.
Yeah. So this was the guy who changed United. He was the missing catalyst.
Some
in
people
that.
don't understand why some footballers flip their collar up. It's because of this guy. He was arrogant about it, but he was good at it.
Imagine Zlatan.
Yeah, probably 2 times
Yeah.
or 3 times worse. than
Imagine
him.
Zlatan 3 times.
Yeah. French is just down to the
That
butter.
was Cantona.
Yeah.
The man who was the general for Alex Ferguson.
You're going with a striker.
Yeah, I'm going with
You're
a striker
going with
though.
a forward, centre forward.
Yeah, it's a forward. It's someone who links up the play.
Okay, for me, Henry is number one.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna give you number 2, and to show that I'm not being biased, he's actually a central defender. He used to play for United.
I know who.
The Terminator.
It's namanya Vidic.
Uh-huh.
Right, I'm not gonna be biased because when Mourinho came in and then Arsenal were winning the Invincibles, United, Ferguson was a smart guy. Alex Ferguson is a smart guy. He knew he had to rebuild his team.
Yes.
And he started with the defense because to win, attack wins you matches, defense wins you titles. And he knew he had to
Words
build
to
that
live
his
by.
defense. He already had Ferdinand there, Gary Neville there, so he brought in Evra and Vidic in a winter transfer window. They didn't look like they belong at United, but I think Sir Alex Ferguson brought something in there.
No, they actually had an absolute clanger of a game against Man City.
Yep.
Both of them.
It's that during that period I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So Sir Alex Ferguson actually, built them up, played them properly, the United way, defensive United way I'm talking about. And Vidic to me blossomed.
You actually have a stat, right, about Vidic?
I think we do. We might bring it up again.
Yeah.
So after Mourinho left and United, they got 3 titles.
Yep.
And I think it's thanks to Vidic, and they got a Champions League as well. At that time, I don't think I've seen anyone got past Vidic.
Torres did.
Only Torres.
Torres
Three red
did.
cards.
I forgot that one. Yeah, Torres did. But most of the time, Vidic was there, marshalling. And in the end, he became the captain. So to
Yes.
me, since you guys not going to pick defenders, I'm going to pick a defender, and it's going to be Vidic. And the
Which is a good pick,
the player that's
Oh, is
come
that-
closest to him would be Company.
That's a good pick.
Now, yeah.
That's a good pick with Vidic. I would say something similar with Chelsea, Marcel Desailly. When you look at United, Peter Schmeichel. When you look at Liverpool, Sami Hyypiä.
Can you pick one that's not from the, if you can, not from the big club?
Not from the big clubs.
And it's not Ali Dia, by the way.
It's really quite tough because a lot of players, foreign players, they come in, they take time to adjust and etc. But in all honesty, some players live as legends for their particular team.
Yep.
Although they're from a different country. There are quite a few that you can mention actually. There's,
I'm always thinking of
Klaus
strikers.
Lundekvam at Southampton.
Yeah.
Right?
Southampton.
Benito
It's
Carboni,
A long time ago.
Paulo Di Canio,
Juninho?
I think Di Canio is a
Juninho
good
and
pick.
Middlesbrough,
Middlesbrough, yeah. The
Fabrizio
cousin of-
Ravanelli.
Was it a cousin or uncle? A cousin.
And there's Fabrizio Ravanelli who just spent
Yep.
one season in Middlesbrough.
Hasselbank.
Hasselbank.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, to be honest, there are a lot of players that we can speak about.
Yeah.
And some players really stand out. Van der Sar was at Fulham for so long.
Yeah. and then United came in.
And then United, and he was supposed to join United earlier from Juventus. So, but he had to make us go for Bosnian. Taibis.
that was the 2000.
That was there.
There was a time where they're trying to fill up something to replace lah.
Yeah.
You know? Probably clubs are going through that now. You should understand.
All right.
What we will do is that we will probably come up with a list on our post
Yeah.
of some famous legends at the low end
Then
clubs.
probably you guys
Probably
can
you
vote.
guys would never know who they are, but we could probably go through them.
And you know what? We want to hear from you guys. If you guys agree with any of us or disagree, or even have a better player in
Yeah.
mind that we actually missed out. Want to hear from you guys.
Even if you think if the only king is King Berbatov, you can argue we are okay.
Right. So let's get on to the next part.
Yeah.
Right. Recently, we've had legends versus future legends, but I think we at HomeGround would like to shake things up. So from here on out, we actually gonna call a player versus player, or manager versus manager, or scout versus scout, or coach versus coach, or formation versus formation. Just something versus something. We're gonna call it a football showdown.
Yeah, maybe a football showdown.
Football showdown.
If
If
you have a better name,
just comment.
Yeah. For now, we're gonna stick to football showdown.
Yeah.
And so it could be a manager versus a manager, current manager of a club versus current manager of a club, if big clubs are going together, or a legendary manager against a current manager. Or as for today, we're gonna stick with the previous one, which is legend versus future legend. And speaking about strikers, we're gonna stick with strikers from Atletico Madrid.
Huh.
I almost said it wrongly. Atletico Madrid.
Atletico.
And we're gonna stick with the player that we've been talking about just now a lot, Sergio Kun Aguero, who played at Atletico Madrid against.
Some of you don't even know. You think probably for me, probably City fans will probably think Aguero was from the youth academy. So let me just tell you, Aguero was from
Atletico Madrid's youth academy.
Yeah, so
So he was actually the successor to Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
In that academy.
And it's actually there's a lot of choices we could have went, but I
Yeah.
think Aguero.
if you want to hear, I can, for example,
Go ahead.
Atletico Madrid had famous footballers like David Villa. They
keep
had-
it strikers.
strikers. So David Villa, Diego Forlan, Christian Vieri, Mario Mandzukic, Radamel Falcao. Currently now is Diego Costa. I personally feel that he's one of
Don't
the
talk
best.
about the one we're gonna
Oh yeah, okay. Then there's
Torres.
Torres. Yeah. So those were Luis Aragonés. He was a coach. and
Christian
he was-
Vieri.
Yeah, Christian Vieri.
I missed out.
So one season wonder.
Oh, Hasselbank.
Yeah.
Hasselbank was from Atletico Madrid, no?
Okay, so we're gonna pit Aguero against everyone's favorite. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's a favorite guy to look
All-rounder
at
lah.
when you watch Atletico Madrid and
Fantastic
France.
footballer.
Is that the guy with the hands?
Yep, the hands.
Okay, Griezmann.
Griezmann.
Antoine Griezmann.
So either one of you who would like to begin, would you rather have Aguero or Griezmann as your player to go for?
Okay, so I can give some stats again. So
Go ahead.
my stats is in terms of again it's about appearances. They played as a striker in the forward position, and the goals they scored in Atletico Madrid itself. So I will talk about Aguero, and probably the next person as close to Aguero besides Torres. Torres is considered like their Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
So I'll talk about Radamel Falcao, and then we'll compare to Griezmann. So Aguero has 175 appearances for Atletico Madrid, and he scored 74 goals. And Radamel Falcao has he only played 68 games, but he managed to score 52 goals. Griezmann has 145 appearances, and he scored 80 goals. But Thiru brought up something very important, which was Christian Vieri. Christian Vieri played 24 games but scored 24 goals, but in total he had 29
Goals in 32
goals in
games.
32 games, which is
Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
And he wasn't like that was like at the end of his career.
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
No, it was at the start of his
He was,
career.
he
Start
was,
of his
he was
career.
blooming.
Actually, he
already.
was at Juventus, and there was a contract dispute.
Okay.
So Atletico Madrid was paying higher than Juventus, And Juventus already had Del Piero on the books and etc.
Yeah.
So
They didn't aim.
they technically didn't need him. Lah. So he moved to Atletico Madrid for a season, played 32 games, scored 29 goals. He played 24 games in the league and scored 24
Got
goals in the
24
league.
goals in 24 games.
So he was the Golden Boot winner, and
This
he
is
moved
called, what was
to
it called? Pichichi, is it?
Pichichi.
Pichichi trophy.
Is it Pichi or
Pichichi.
Pichichi. Then he moved. Then the following season he moved to join Sven Goran Eriksson at Lazio.
Yeah, Lazio. He's
Also
more
he-
famous for Lazio lah. As
Yeah.
in people remember him for
But-
Lazio and the sex tape.
You know what's the interesting stat? Interesting stat is that 9 seasons as a football player, 9 different clubs. That's Christian Vieri.
He's something like a Zlatan in the making lah.
So the next club he moved to was Inter Milan, and he actually stayed there for 6 seasons. That's the longest he's been there.
And then after that,
After
AC
that,
Milan.
Milan.
So he actually played for
he
Inter
just started
Milan,
moving
AC
around,
Milan,
Yeah, and Juventus.
and Juventus.
He belongs to this select group of players who have played for these 3 teams. Pirlo.
Yeah.
But for me, is comparing Falcao and Aguero. Aguero obviously is phenomenal, but Falcao had a better scoring rate, but he didn't stay too long. But Aguero, over the span of he had 175 games, he managed to score 74 goals, which is very impressive. And he has a high assist rate. So Griezmann is an all-rounder. He can assist, he can score, he can create chances, he can cross, he can come back to defend, intercept. Aguero was like that. If you have an opportunity, go and watch YouTube. Kun Aguero in his prime. At that time, everybody wanted to buy him. Nobody knew him. And then next thing you know, this guy is Maradona's son-in-law. They were like, who is this guy playing the volleyball, the soccer volleyball with Messi? The Argentinian TV. Then turns out this guy is suddenly Maradona also want him to be the son-in-law.
Actually, there's a story regarding, I don't know about you guys, whether you know this, Aguero and Messi, right? It was I think Argentinian under I can't remember the year. So it's like Messi was sitting there, and then there's 2 guys sitting, and then at dinner. So Aguero came in and sat beside Messi, right? And then he was like talking a lot of things about Messi, but he did not know that the guy next to him was actually Messi. Right, so he was talking all these things about Messi and talking about everything and disturbing him. And then when Messi left, and then he asked the 2 guys, if I remember correctly, he asked the 2 guys, "Who's this guy?" "He's Messi." "You're kidding." It's something like that.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So it's
Have you had your pick yet? Who are you going to pick?
my pick.
Aguero or-
Aguero.
You're gonna go with Aguero.
Yeah, Aguero. Aguero was a better player rather than Falcao, but Aguero was
Aguero against Griezmann.
almost similar because Falcao was a sitting. I would say sitting. I mean standing but he was stagnant in his position. Cross the ball, bicycle kick, boom, out of nowhere. That was Falcao. But Griezmann and Aguero were everywhere. They had a lot, very high intense work rate. So almost similar. Aguero was the pick for me.
Yourself.
I'm going to go opposite and pick Griezmann.
Okay.
Griezmann.
Okay. Why I'm saying this is because we just mentioned a few names like Vieri and etc. All of these players are legends of their own rights. Okay. I would say Griezmann because it's Atletico's success period with Diego Simeone as coach, right? So previously they were somewhere reaching the heights with Forlan and David Villa.
Almost, they almost came there.
Almost came there.
Almost.
So I think Griezmann has more success than Aguero in
I would agree
in
in terms of achievements.
In terms of achievements,
But Aguero only won the Europa League at Atletico. If I'm not wrong, did Griezmann win any cup?
he won the Europa League also.
Yeah, Europa League, but the
but no
Spanish
Champions
cups.
League.
No Champions
No
League,
Champions
but
League,
Spanish cups there.
Not really sure.
But with Aguero, they did not even get to the Champions League final.
Yeah.
With Griezmann, they did.
Yeah.
So I think that the team also makes sense to me that the Atletico Madrid team of the current era is
Much
much
better.
stronger, and Griezmann complements them fine. Right?
It's
I
either
mean, this season he had a chance to move to Barcelona or
Even
any
United.
teams, even United.
Yep.
So a lot of people wanted him, but he chose to stay.
Impressive
Right? Impressive, and I think that
He's a Marco Rios.
he's one of the best left-footed players on earth right now. Of course, it's Messi, right? Yeah. But for Atletico Madrid, I think that Griezmann is the one that is my pick compared to Aguero.
Okay. So if you guys agree with him, Aguero, or agree with him, Griezmann, do let us know. Or if you actually think Falcao or Vieri or Hasselbank is a better better player for you,
Jackson Martinez.
you can go ahead and leave in the comments. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Jackson
China.
Martinez.
You went to which team?
He's been missing ever since.
Yeah, actually, I don't know
he
whether
left
he's
to China.
still alive or not, but hopefully he's alive lah. Okay.
Okay, before we wrap things up, last night, I mean, as of the recording of this podcast, last night we had a chance to witness the Champions League draw
Live.
live. It is out, and I would like to get each of your views on each group. Let's start with Group A: Atletico, Dortmund, Monaco, Bruges.
It's a.
Is it a straight?
I think
I think
the way he said the group is the way you
It will finish.
Atletico Dortmund.
You mean Monaco doesn't have a chance to try?
They have the outside chance.
Because to me,
Monaco
Dortmund,
just bought someone.
you have to ask Arman Khan.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can remember.
No, because Dortmund got a new manager, and I kind of not too confident about it.
Okay, I think we'll talk about this the next episode because if you talk about the Jurgen Klopp and things,
We'll
you'll
go
go
through
on and on and on and on and on.
Okay, let's skip Group B because it's a big group. I think we should skip the bigger groups and talk about the smaller groups. Group D: Moscow, Porto, Schalke, Galatasaray.
Porto and Schalke.
Which Moscow is that?
Lokomotiv Moscow.
Lokomotiv
Sorry,
Moscow.
Schalke
Schalke
and Porto.
Porto.
But Porto top lah. I think Porto is pretty
Schalke
solid.
and a revolution with their tactics and their style of play.
Yeah. Because of the
Manager's
young
younger than some of the
manager.
players. So I think Schalke will finish top,
And second,
and second should be Porto. Galatasaray.
I think Porto. Should be Porto.
okay, in Group E we have Bayern Munich, Benfica, Ajax, and AEK or AEK Athens.
Athens,
Can't
yeah.
remember the
Is it-
proper name.
I think the same way you
I
read
think
it
it's
lah.
AEK Lansara or something. if I'm not wrong.
Really?
I'm not sure.
I still not
Right,
so sure.
Bayern, Benfica, Ajax, AEK. So I think you guys gonna go with Bayern,
Bayern and Benfica.
Benfica. Are you
I think it's going to be Bayern
Ajax?
top, Ajax and Benfica for the second spot.
Okay. Yeah, it's definite.
Very close.
Sorry, Athens. All right, Man City, Shakhtar, Lyon, Hoffenheim, and Hoffenheim's first time in the Champions League group stage.
Hoffenheim is the impressive team. Young manager.
Yeah. Julian Nagelsmann, right?
Yeah.
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 But-
That's quite a tough pick, you know.
But Hoffenheim is not an attacking team, it's a defensive team.
Yep.
They don't concede as much.
You know, is it Shakhtar's always been there, Lyon's always been there, Hoffenheim's first time, so kind of don't know who's gonna finish. with
Lyon
Man
is pretty
City.
good too.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to experience.
Yeah.
With
So maybe this group is skip lah. So we don't care.
So, but for sure it's Man City, right?
Yeah, obviously
yeah,
Man
obviously Man
City.
City.
Do you think they get into was it semifinals or quarterfinals? I think it's quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
Semifinals this time at least.
Yeah. Probably
Okay.
further lah. I think they can go further. But I think it was, in my opinion, the Champions League was a little bit, so they try to eliminate the English teams lah. But if Liverpool were another group,
Controversy.
Man City were another group, you definitely see both of them going lah. Yeah.
All right, Group G: Real Madrid, Roma, Moscow, CSK Moscow, and Victoria Pleasant.
Oh, okay. Victoria.
Real Madrid, Roma definitely.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid and Roma. Roma is very underrated. They have a very, very good squad.
A young squad.
And a young and like Ante Coric, all these players.
Monchi.
Monchi Magic.
Anything to say about Madrid?
Madrid, no.
New signing?
Maybe they have a new signing, number 7. He's what's his name?
Mariano Diaz.
Yeah.
He's
So,
bought on the buyback clause,
I
right?
really don't understand why this happened, but they gave him number 7. How insulted Raul will be, but it's okay lah.
Raul.
It kind of feels like Depay at United when he took 7.
Yep.
To me,
But
at least.
that's what they did with this. What's the other youth they bought? Martin Odegaard, hyped up player.
Now is that
And-
Vinicius Junior?
Vinicius Junior too. I also don't know what happened to him already. I don't know whether he's still alive. But hopefully this guy lives up to the hype. Like he
Is
has a
it-
hairstyle though.
Will he be first team or will he go back?
No, I don't think so.
or
But-
the reserves or
We'll just wait and see because
Nobody
none of
knows.
us knows very much
Yeah.
about Julian Lopetegui's style of
yeah.
management.
Only that he was sacked lah. That's all we know about him.
All right. Who wants to go first? Your club or your club?
For what?
The groups.
Oh, okay. So for us,
Let's go. Let's go with Group C.
Mm.
Let me refresh it for you. Paris, Napoli, Liverpool, Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah. So the it could be my pick would be PSG top, Liverpool second, because PSG is
Just to
too powerful, and the only concern would be playing Shaqiri in Red Star when you face
Oh,
Red
in
Star
Belgrade.
Belgrade, because of his Albanian, and then there is his Albanian roots, and then his celebration against Serbia. So if you do not know, Red Star Belgrade is one of the worst hooligan firms in the world. Then their derby is
I don't know whether to say worst or best.
yeah, it could. I mean, the flares and all, they light up the whole stadium.
It's passionate.
Yeah, it's just hardcore lah. So Liverpool might get a scare, but
It's just like
could-
Galatasaray.
yeah. So
welcome to hell.
for
Welcome
me,
to
it's
hell.
PSG top, and then Liverpool.
So Napoli will go to the Europa League.
Yeah, Napoli will definitely go lah.
You know,
Red Star Belgrade is not a very strong team.
Actually, Liverpool, I think,
Could top.
yeah, because if you look at PSG's defense, it's aging.
Aging squad ah.
Yeah, except for
Yeah, who's their
Marquinhos.
keeper ah? I totally got no clue.
Buffon.
You don't know?
Oh yeah. Who was I thinking? I was thinking of who ah?
Was it
Kevin Trapp or
Trap?
Trap. Yeah.
Ariola or something, right?
Yeah.
Buffon.
Yeah, I think
So-
Liverpool got a chance to top. But then again, if you know Champions League, sometimes when you're top,
It's either Klopp works his magic or not.
sometimes you're top, and then Real Madrid, Barcelona finish second, and you face them.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's your turn.
This is the times that Liverpool hope they have VAR because Neymar's playing.
Yeah, man. Can't stand the guy for
And
nuts.
I think VR is coming to Champions League next season.
Yeah.
All right,
Better.
so it's your turn. Juventus return for
return
Cristiano
for
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo and
Man United
Pogba.
return for Paul Pogba.
Pop back.
You've
Ronnie
got
back.
Valencia, not Antonio, and Young Boys, not Ashley.
Not Young's boys.
Do you think you got a
but-
chance?
Not Ashley Young's boys. Young boys.
let me have a look again.
Juventus, United,
Valencia.
Valencia.
Okay, it's good. I gotta think.
Valencia definitely not lah.
I am gonna say that Juventus might top the league, the
Okay.
group stage.
That's
It's
okay.
between United and Valencia to finish second.
But Valencia has been doing horribly in the La Liga, no? I think they're below 10.
No, it's,
If I'm not wrong.
the kid they just started off. So it's too early to say.
Oh, too early lah.
I
But sorry
think
lah.
they played 1 or 2 matches, right?
Yeah,
Okay
it's too
lah.
early to say.
Sorry to, you know.
He got emotional.
And for the last group, I know Arsenal are not in the Champions League, but I like to have a laugh. Barcelona, PSV, International, and Tottenham.
Tottenham,
So
I think,
this is kind of the group of death, right?
Yeah, this is
Sorry,
the group update.
Tottenham.
That's why I'm gonna say it last.
sorry, Tottenham and the Hotspurs. Sorry. I think you guys
No
are out.
chance.
No chance. Oh no, wait a minute.
I-
Tottenham has this problem about doing well in Champions League. So they do have very good upsets, but they don't have the wow factor. For example, like Gareth Bale. So I would say no. Harry Kane is overrated lah. Please don't tell me he's a fantastic footballer. All this, he has a long nose. That's all. But other than that, I think Tottenham not there yet lah.
No, I'm gonna go on the contrary. Barcelona is going to top the group,
Yep.
right? It's Inter or Tottenham for second.
What's the other team?
It's
Inter.
PSV.
PSV, which is actually tough.
Which is tough because
Actually, there's a
because-
group of them lah.
because the guy who's managing them is Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Woo! Do you guys know who's Van Bronckhorst? If you don't know, please like and comment.
If you don't know, you have to go to
Legends.
World Cup semi-final 2010.
2010.
Uruguay versus Netherlands, and you see who scores the belter.
He's still,
there was
he was
a
still playing
there
there.
was a famous 2006, right? It was the
Yeah.
most carded match.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he was playing.
Yeah, he was playing and he got red card. He went sit down, he talked to the opponent. Yeah, I remember.
You know what? On the contrary, I'm gonna go on a limb. I think something's gonna happen to Barcelona this season. I just have this feeling because they haven't been progressing in the Champions League of late recently, and they got a new manager, Valverde. I think I'm not saying they won't qualify, but I think they might be struggling to qualify. I do think so.
Let's see, guys.
I'm going to say Inter's still in the rebuilding process. Tottenham is capable of doing well.
Yeah,
in
Inter
Champions
bought a
League.
lot of players also.
Yeah, so Spalletti. I mean, he's done a lot with Roma, losing 7-1 and stuff. So I think that Inter Milan is in a rebuilding process.
Yep.
PSV might be the one who sneaks in, but it's really tough. This is really
the
tough.
group of
This
death.
is the group of death.
This,
But for me, Barcelona goes through.
this is
Yeah, Barcelona is just stable.
Because
one of
to me, Barcelona is a team. It doesn't matter who the manager is.
this has been one of the best draws, I think, in terms of
It was well
quality.
spread out and
Yep.
good opponents.
It's quite nice to see them rolling the balls.
And then they put their own thing, put back inside the thing.
All right,
When people
so
start controversies like that, ball was heated.
and that could be a topic
Magnet,
by
magnet,
itself.
magnet.
All right, so this marks the end of the episode. I
Yeah,
hope
guys.
you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we do, talking about football. We want to hear from you guys. We want you guys to be involved. This is our home ground. This is your home ground. And this is Haikal,
Dominic.
Dom, Thiru signing out.
Home ground.
HomeGround.